Today we'll be talking about the Kenya top bar hive. One of the distinctive characteristics of the Kenya top bar hive is that it has this V-shaped profile. Bees love this profile because it mimics the spaces that they live in inside cavities in trees. The Kenya top bar hive is named after our beloved country, Kenya. It is loved by bee farmers because it produces a lot of honey, and I will be showing you why that is the case. We'll just begin by showing you the Kenya top bar hive. This is the entrance of the Kenya top bar hive. These holes mimic the holes through which bees are able to access cavities in trees, and that's one of the key attractions of bees to the Kenya top bar hive. The entrance mimics the holes through which bees are able to enter cavities inside of trees. The Kenya top bar hive has slots where you can put wire to suspend the Kenya top bar hive on a tree with wires, these slots here, and also at the back. What you do is put some heavy duty wire and suspend the Kenya top bar on poles. The other way you can install the Kenya top bar is on a typical beehive stand, just like the Langstroth hive. So I will now open the cover of the Kenya top bar hive. This is how the Kenya top bar hive looks. The Kenya top bar hive has two sections. The first section is the brooding section, and this section is the honey section, honey storage section. So in reality, what happens up to this point is that this is the brooding area. It is separated from the honey section by what we refer to as a queen excluder. A queen excluder is made from good quality galvanized wire. A good quality queen excluder will not allow the queen to access the honey section. Now, what makes the Kenya top bar hive attractive is this. The brooding section is relatively small. It's relatively small with just 9 frames. So once the bees come in, what ideally you should do even before colonization is that you should block this section here where there is a queen excluder. Block this with a piece of paper. Block this with some piece of paper and tape, which means that this is a relatively small space. Bees love a space that is easy to keep warm. So if when you block this with a piece of paper, the Kenya top bar hive will be colonized pretty fast. It's not a very big space. It will be colonized very fast. Then, because you will be doing inspections, when you find that the bees have created wax comb on all these frames, you can then remove the barrier you had created here, so that now bees can begin attaching their wax comb on the frames in the brooding section. And once that is done, under the right conditions, the Kenya top bar, the bees will attach wax comb up to the point where they are able to manage. So in the first season, they could attach wax comb up to here, a second season up to here. And what will happen as the colony grows and under the right conditions, you can harvest a lot of honey. The Kenya top bar ordinarily has 19 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 frames for honey. Each frame holds a significant amount of honey. Under the right conditions, you can hold as much, bees can store as much as 2 kilos of honey per frame. So if you take 16 frames times approximately 2 kilos of honey, you can harvest as much as 32 kilograms of honey from just one Kenya top bar hive. And that is why it is so attractive. Number one, because bees love the V shape, the V profile shape. You can create a warm space prior to colonization to improve the how fast bees colonize the Kenya top bar hive. Once they have built a strong colony, you can stop them from swarming by removing the barrier you had created so that they can colonize it and they can now begin accessing the honey super section. As they fill it with wax comb and honey, at the end of the day, under the right conditions, you can harvest a lot of honey from a Kenya top bar hive. In the semi-arid areas, bees tend to store a lot of honey in the Kenya top bar hive. If you are operating in an arid area, consider the Kenya top bar hive. It's a good choice. One of the challenges a lot of beekeepers are facing is that they have installed beehives, but unfortunately, their beehives have not been colonized. It is a common problem of many farmers in this country. So how do you solve that problem of slow colonization? Of course, you have to make sure that your hives are well taken care of, are serviced regularly. By servicing, I mean, even if your beehive is not colonized, you will be inspecting it to make sure that the beehive has not been colonized by other insects. There are very many pests that tend to colonize beehives before the bees move in. For many of these insects, once they colonize a beehive, bees tend to ignore that beehive. They consider it not suitable for colonization because of other insects in that beehive. A good example is the carpenter bee. Once it colonizes your beehive, usually bees will not colonize a beehive if it has already been colonized by the carpenter ants. So, number one, make sure that your beehives, even if they have not been colonized, are clean and there are no other insects dwelling in that beehive. Now, That brings us to the second strategy you can adopt, which is this. This is a catcher box, as we call it in Kenya. It is a catcher box for the Kenya top bar hive. The frames here are identical to the frames on the Kenya top bar hive, and they are interchangeable, as I have demonstrated. So what would happen is this: if you have a problem of your beehives not being colonized, you may consider investing in a catcher box. It's a bait hive or a nuclear colony hive. So what would happen? You will install this catcher box somewhere on your property. Because it is a small space, bees prefer this small space compared to the larger hive. So what should happen is that you will let bees colonize the catcher box and let that colony grow inside the catcher box. Then once the colony has demonstrated strength, it has grown in size, it has many worker bees, you can then lift these frames one by one. You will lift these frames one by one with all the wax comb and bees and transfer these frames into the Kenya top bar hive. Lift the other frame with the wax comb intact, the bees will be on it, and transfer it here. So on and so forth, to an extent that all these frames will be transferred into the Kenya top bar hive, ideally in the order that they are arranged in the catcher box. And once that is done, you will fill the remainder of the space with the frames from the Kenya top bar hive. The frames from the Kenya top bar hive will be replaced into this hive, and then you will return this hive back to catch a new swarm of bees. You are likely to get a new swarm of bees very fast because this beehive had been colonized by some other swarm. It is smelling like bees. We call it smelling bee. And you can then, once you get a new swarm in this hive and you allow it to grow for some time, you can also transfer it to another Kenya top bar hive. So as a bee farmer, it is worthwhile to invest in one or two catcher boxes for your Kenya top bar hive. This catcher boxes, as I have said, is a warm space. Bees love the warmer space, and they use it to grow the colony, which you can subsequently transfer to a proper beehive. Our bee farmers in this country face quite a lot of challenges. From the feedback that we have had from bee farmers in Kenya, one of the key challenges is colonization, especially when you set up a Kenya top bar hive that is relatively large. It may take some time before you can get a a feral swarm that is big enough to easily colonize a Kenya top bar hive. Those big feral colonies are very scarce today, as wildlife habitat is encroached on by settlements. So one of the big challenges farmers face is getting their Kenya top bar being colonized. The solution to that slow colonization is that you have to maintain your Kenya top bar hive, even if it is not colonized. Make sure that there are no other insects colonizing your Kenya top bar hive. Keep it clean, keep it sanitized. One. Then number two, it is worthwhile to invest in a catcher box. Bees love it because it is small, and bees tend to colonize it faster than they would colonize a proper Kenya top bar hive. So once they colonize this catcher box, you can give these bees some time, a month or two, so that the strength of the colony can be built up. And once that colony is strong enough, you can transfer those bees from the catcher box into a proper Kenya top bar hive. The frames in the catcher box are identical to the frames in the Kenya top bar hive. So the key issue we have faced is that Kenya top bar hive rate of colonization may be slow because it is a big space, which you can mitigate by growing colonies in a catcher box, then transferring that colony into a proper Kenya top bar hive. The temptation, a lot of farmers have suffered theft of honey, and the best strategy to adopt is to install your beehives in a safe location. Install your beehives where it is relatively hard for thieves to access. A lot of Kenyans right now are building apiaries, secure apiaries, in order to beat theft of their honey and beekeeping equipment by thieves. The other big challenge farmers are facing is the honey badger. It will time when you are just about to harvest, or when bees have begun storing honey. The honey badger will come in and destroy the colony. And how it does that, the honey badger is a relatively intelligent animal. It knows how to open the top cover of a beehive. Once it opens up the top cover of the beehive, it is able to access the honey that is stored in the beehive. It will basically eat all the honey, including the eggs and the brood. It will just destroy your colony totally. So the best thing you can do to defeat the honey badger is to install the Kenya top bar hive approximately 1.2 meters above the ground, on a beehive stand, on a metallic beehive stand at the height of 1.2 meters. Beyond 1.2 meters, the honey badger finds it very hard to get to the roof. So Then the other strategy that can be adopted is to secure your beehive on the beehive stand securely. One of the things that the honey badger does is that if it is easy to knock the beehive down, it will do that, because if it is unable to open the top cover, what it does next is just to knock the beehive down and consume the contents of the beehive on the ground. So you can find a way to secure the Kenya top bar hive on the beehive stand in a way that honey badger cannot push the beehive off the stand. Also, for the top cover of the beehive, you can also find a way to secure the top cover of the beehive onto the beehive, defeating the honey badger opening the top cover. So what you can do, you can use quick release wraps, which I will demonstrate, or other people use wires to tie this top cover to ensure that the honey badger does not knock it down.